Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears up to some of the travails and tribulations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. And I got to talk about my beloved city of Chicago again and all of the tragedy and decimation that's taking place in that particular city. We know the mayor, Brandon Johnson, is doing a terrible job there, but there is so much chaos and disruption in that city and its streets that it is just devastating. There is so much self-hatred, inhumanity that's taking place, no self-preservation, helpless and hopelessness, the level of crimes that are taking place, assaults, carjackings, gun violence. It is just unimaginable. And this one story is about a civilian who attacked and killed a police officer during a traffic stop. And when you hear this story, it is so sad. And now that these individuals are unafraid and attacking police officers, what do you think that says for the public safety of Chicago? If they're willing to kill police officers, people in uniform, what does that mean for individuals that are just trying to get through the day and move around the city uninterrupted? Public safety is a real issue. Mental health is a real issue. The opioid crisis is a real issue. Homelessness is a real issue. But this story, and this is a very young man who committed an adult crime, and we're losing our kids each and every day. And it's like the children of the corn, as I repeat in many of my videos. So here we go. Man charged in killing of fallen CPD, Chicago police officer, Enrique Martinez. Chicago police announced charges in the murder of Chicago police officer Enrique Martinez, who was shot and killed in the line of duty during a traffic stop a few weeks ago. Darian McMillan, 23 years old, has been charged with one count of felony first-degree murder of a police officer and one count of felony first-degree murder in addition to several other charges, including one count of felony residential burglary and one felony count of attempted murder of a police officer. McMillan, 23 years old, was on electronic monitoring and had been convicted of a felony previously. So he's already been in the system. This offender is a convicted felon who was on electronic monitoring out of Will County. Needless to say, this individual should not have been on our streets with a fully automatic weapon, a weapon used to kill Officer Martinez, CPD Superintendent Larry Snelling said. Snelling expressed anger at Officer Martinez's killing, referencing the line of duty killings of other Chicago police officers in the last few years. So there have been several police officers that have been killed in the line of duty in the last few years. Anger doesn't describe the feeling that I feel right now when we think about the loss of this officer who was out trying to protect the city. I think all of the losses that we've had over this time, this past few years, is horrific. We've suffered the deaths through these violent experiences of Officer Louise Huska, Officer Ariana Preston, Officer Vasquez Lasso, and Officer Ella French, Snelling said, just to name a few. Snelling called for more focus on repeat offenders and violent crimes in wake of the charges against McMillan. So you have people, civilians in Chicago, that are out killing police officers. What does that say for the safety of you leaving your house and moving around the city of Chicago? He said, we have to channel that anger into energy that's going to keep our city safe. by focusing on the violent crimes and the violent acts that are being committed throughout the city, to focus on those repeat offenders who continue to offend and continue to terrorize our city and our communities. In his final moments, he protected our city, Snelling said of Officer Martinez. Chief of Detectives Antoinette Usurti offered additional details on the traffic stop that led to the fatal shooting of Martinez. So this is what took place. Usurti or Ursity said the stop occurred around 8 p.m. on a Monday night in the 8,000 block of South Ingleside Avenue when a traffic stop was conducted on a vehicle with 3 people inside, blocking traffic at the intersection. According to Usurti, Martinez and his partner were speaking with the driver of the vehicle when, after noticing that McMillan, who was on the front passenger side or seat, had reached for a bag on the floor of the vehicle. Officer Martinez and his partner then gave verbal commands for McMillan to stop reaching, at which time McMillan pulled out a fully automatic handgun equipped with a machine gun conversion device and an extended magazine for firing in the direction of Officer Martinez, fatally striking him. The driver of the vehicle was also fatally struck by McMillan's gunfire. So McMillan is sitting in the passenger seat. They had a traffic stop, and he decided to reach down, get a fully automatic magazine. And not only did he kill Officer Martinez, he killed the guy that was driving the car he was with. You talk about inhumanity and demonic forces at its best. Usurti said McMillan then pushed the driver out of the vehicle and jumped into the driver's seat as another officer attempted to pull McMillan away from the vehicle. McMillan then put the vehicle in reverse, dragging the officer near McMillan. The officer fired their weapon once, which did not strike McMillan. The vehicle crashed into a parked car, coming to a stop a short distance later. McMillan fled the vehicle and entered a first-floor apartment with a woman inside. McMillan found a knife he used to cut off his electronic monitoring bracelet and then fled the scene. The woman was unharmed in the incident. The woman in the apartment was not hurt, but probably scared her to death. A short time later, officers located McMillan in the 8,000 block of South Maryland Avenue, where he was taken into custody after being positively identified. While this does not erase the grief of Officer Martinez's family, we hope it brings a small measure of comfort knowing the person responsible for his murder will face justice. I want to thank the responding officers and detectives from the investigative response team who made sure this offender was taken into custody and would not be able to hurt anyone else. Mayor Brandon Johnson expressed his condolences for Martinez's family while referencing a shooting in West Rogers Park late last month, in which officers and paramedics were fired upon again after an Orthodox Jewish man was shot in a hate crime. What is going on in Chicago? A mere 6 days later, we stand once again shoulder to shoulder talking about the horrific violence that continues to plague not just our city, but the men and women who wear the uniform and run to danger every day. Our officers go out and face this type of danger every single day, Snelling said in the following shooting. And this work is unpredictable. We never know what's in store for our officers when they are out there trying to keep the public safe. And just remember, in a city where our officers are not safe, it's going to be hard for everyone else to be safe, which is what I'm saying. If the individuals in blue, the police officers, if their safety is at risk, you have a complete unsafe city in Chicago. It's everyone for themselves. According to Superintendent Snelling, Martinez was 26 years old. So you have two young people involved in this. You have a 23-year-old who committed this crime, and you have a 26-year-old officer who got killed. Both of them are in the very beginning of life stages, and now both of their lives will be interrupted forever. Miss Officer Martinez got killed, and this other gentleman who committed this crime will spend the rest of his life in jail, Mr. McMillan. So according to Snelling, Martinez was 26 years old and just shy of 3 years on the job. He worked in the 6th District, which includes the Grisham neighborhood and other surrounding communities. Snelling said Martinez was a proud individual and very hardworking. What does this say about the city of Chicago? It's like a third world country. The things that are taking place in Haiti, I did a story on Haiti, where Haiti has been overrun by escaped prisoners, and gangs have taken over that entire country. There has been a flight stop of U.S. citizens going to Haiti, and they want everybody that's there in Haiti to get out of there. That Haiti is being decimated each and every day. And then you have right here in the heart of our United States of America, Chicago, where the Chicago Board of Trade is at. It's the third largest city in America. This storyline and the stories of the amount of gun violence and crimes that are being committed, and even the sanctuary migrant issue, Chicago sounds just like Haiti. If you read read similar stories of Haiti and Chicago, and I didn't tell you which place I'm talking about, you would think they were one in the same. And this is happening right in the Midwest of America, in Chicago, the third largest city in the country. And if this can happen in Chicago, even though you don't live in Chicago and you may not think this is important, this kind of gun violence can become a panacea crossing all the way across the country and will walk right into your city. The people have to take back their city and make individuals accountable and responsible for their actions. This is a classic case of fatherless homes, disruption, anger, stress, anxiety. Not many of these young people have not been raised the right way to deal with the issues that take place in our daily lives, and they're lashing out in the most harmful way. You have a 23-year-old that just killed a 26-year-old cop. Both of them in the beginning stages of their lives. Both of their families will have complete disruption forever. And you're talking about PTSD at its best. There's always videos, and the propaganda machine pushes it, where a police officer shoots a U.S. civilian, and that makes a lot of noise, and people love to jump on that bandwagon. But there are police officers that are trying to do the right job who are getting killed in the line of duty every day, every week, and it is definitely happening in Chicago. Public safety is a real issue in Chicago. They are down about 1,000 cops, police officers that are needed in the force. So they're understaffed and overworked. You have this migrant issue that's also taking place, along with the overwhelming amount of crime that's there. What do you think that does for the Chicago Police Department? It puts a harbinger and a burden on them. And you're talking about someone who's a police officer in Chicago. It's like going to war each and every day. The city jails are understaffed with correctional officers. There's chaos and disruption all through Cook County Jail. Murders, assaults. There's not enough correctional officers. Chicago is the precipitous and the measuring stick of what America looks like today. And if you think that this disruption cannot take place in your city, you better think again. We have to take self-accountability for what we're doing as citizens, become more communal, and make people responsible for the negative attributes and negative suppositions that they are placing on people that are trying to do the right thing. This is a very sad story for Mr. Martinez's family. You're talking about PTSD at its best or at its worst. These Chicago officers, every day that they get up, they are putting their lives on the line. We need to get rid of these tinted windows in these cars. Too many people are driving around with temporary tags, no car insurance. These liberal laws, and remember, the state of Illinois has the Safety Act, where if you commit an alleged minor crime, you can get out under your own recognizance and is expected to show up in the court as a responsible human being. Well, most criminals are not responsible and are not going to show up in court 30 days later for a minor infraction. These liberal laws are decimating the state of Illinois and especially Chicago. Our Mayor Brandon Johnson has done a terrible job, and now you're seeing police officers getting murdered and massacred on the streets of Chicago. That blood is on the hands of many individuals in Chicago, and Chicagoans need to look in the mirror and take their city back. Chicago is becoming Haiti as we speak. Tell me what you think about this sad scenario that just took place a few weeks ago. This has been the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth in a positive, righteous, and God-fearing way.